Topsy-turvy Thursday afternoon. No, that's not the official nickname. Even I'm not that crazy. Want to bet? What are the odds? We'll break the book. All of the above. One segment, 4 nicknames. We'll go with that. Fine. On a beautiful Thursday afternoon, 28th day of May. Yes, LIVE live on a Thursday afternoon. A little bit strange timing, but you know something? It's a 4-letter word called life. Dearly beloved, you know the phrase. If you know the song, let's go crazy. From Studio One in Pelham, Alabama, yours truly, the Magic City Motor Mouth Fast Study Layne, being joined by tag team partner, the promoter, the trivia master, the incomparable Shane Noles. What's up, brother?
Well, topsy-turvy, that phrase, topsy, I definitely know what that means. What is turvy? What is the definition?
I have no idea.
Does that mean the upside down, the outer realm, a new dimension?
D, all of the above. It's all screwed up. We just don't want to say it's all screwed up. Thank you to everybody catching us through BeyondRingside.com, ProWrestlingRadio.net, Radio.net, Streamo, TuneIn, all the different methodologies. For those catching this opening segment on YouTube, how you doing? For everybody catching us on replay, whether it's through iHeart, Audible, Amazon Music, you name it, thank you very much for allowing us to be a part of your day. Coming off of a phenomenal, and I will use that term strongly, weekend in the world of pro wrestling. WWE getting ready to go over to Italy for Clash in Italy this weekend. Live on ESPN Unlimited, live internationally on Netflix, hint, hint, VPN. Nope, did I say that out loud? Damn, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Sure he didn't. But
you meant PLE. Those are the 3 initials I heard.
Sure, okay, we'll go with that. Actually, I've got 3 other initials that I want to hit you with right off the bat, and we'll dive into Italy and a few other things as this hour progresses. If I use the initials JMC, what does that mean to you?
I don't know.
Segment 2, he would have been all over this. Juan Manuel Cerundolo.
Wait a minute. Now I know what that means.
that is the reason why Yannick Sinner lost 18 out of the last 20 games and got knocked out by unseeded Cerundolo in the French Open.
I got to watch that at the garage shop earlier today.
But I was reading that little piece of news, and I'm going, I am totally unfamiliar with this guy. And by the same token, I am very casual when it comes to tennis. I know that everything's happening at Roland Garros right now. I know that it's been one that a lot of people have been talking about. Let's see, right now, 31st. But if you're number 56 in the world, how is JMC not listed in the top 64?
Yeah, and that's how, just to this point, Yannick Sinner ousted today in the second round at Roland Garros at the French. He was the biggest favorite at the French since Rafael Nadal in 2009. Now, this is the only, I think we talked about this last week, this is the only slam to date that Sinner has not added to his resume after losing in the final to Carlos Alcaraz last year. Alcaraz not in the field with a wrist injury. What's amazing to me, Sinner won the first 2 sets, I believe, some scores of 7-5, 6-2. He was up 5-1 in the third. He was a game away from hitting the locker room and going to the third round. Whatever happened there, and he said the heat got to him. We saw him have to take a medical timeout and get his blood pressure checked, dehydration. He was fine. But 18 out of 20 games where all of a sudden, 1 game away from closing this thing out, he drops it in 5. Those sets 4 and 5, he lost 6-1, 6-1. This is a major loss right here because for the first time since Novak Djokovic won the U.S. Open, I believe in the year 2023, there is going to be a different men's slams champion as Alcaraz and Sinner have pretty much dominated the last 10 or 11, I do believe. This opens up the door for Alexander Zverev, who has been a top 5 player for the last few years. He's won a gold medal in the Olympics, but he has yet to break through in a slam. He has reached so many semis and so many finals. Could this be the year? But we're seeing the heat get to a lot of people. Cam Norrie had to retire. I mean, he just played Nadal in the final 3 years ago, retired against first-round match. So I don't know what heat is going on in France, but normally you see the heat start to bother people down under in the Australian Open, maybe in that first week of the U.S. Open before Flushing Meadows in New York turns to fall. Not really accustomed to seeing this in the French Open.
Like I said, I was scrolling headlines and I'm going, how in the hell? And then I started reading it. You're making the reference to the medical timeout. He was also dealing with cramps. And you're right. I mean, this seems like it's a little bit early in the season. Now, I will say this. In central Alabama, my home market, the humidity has been off the rest, out of the rest area. So you're having to continue down that interstate because that rest area ain't humidity. So at that point, so it's gonna. Yeah, you're right. As it stands right now, it's looking like it's going to be a wide open field for the balance of everything happening at Roland Garros for the French. Off the cuff, as we all know, once again, WWE has Clash in Italy coming up this weekend. Yeah, I know. Hard segue, tennis. Back over to wrestling, or over to wrestling. Here's the way we play the game just for fun. We play the clock game as to how quickly he can catch how this person is the favorite as far as the number and the plus or minus. Shane, you up for a quick one?
I am ready. What are the odds? And I'll be right. Lesnar at minus 200.
Higher.
Minus 450.
Lower.
Minus 375.
Lower.
Minus 325.
Ding, 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 ding. He goes to the bonus round. Brock Lesnar at a minus 325 favorite. Obafemi at a plus 215 underdog. Going from there, tribal combat match. Roman Reigns versus Jacob Fatu. Shane, who's the favorite?
Let's go to the Shane-o-meter. First of all, Jacob Fatu should be minus 1,500. But the actual odds here, I'm going to take Roman Reigns at minus 550.
Just a touch lower. Exactly. Got it on the second run. Hats off on that one, yes. Roman at a minus 500 favorite. Jacob Fatu at a plus 300 underdog. For the undisputed WWE champion.
Gunther.
Trick question.
Minus 225.
Cody and Gunther are both sitting at a negative 120 or minus 120.
And I'm not trying to get in the boat of every match that Cody has, he must lose the title. But I do think it's time for Gunther.
I think it would be a nice little turn. I was actually thinking they might wait until SummerSlam to do a title flip over on the Blue brand. But I'm going to join you on this one. I've got Gunther going over. I think it's just right. I think coming off with Randy Orton. Being brutally honest, I think that the crowd was ready for Randy to have 15 at that point, even though I guess creative had other things in mind. It's kind of like the scenario over on the Red brand when you've got Roman versus Punk. You've got so many people, myself included, and if you read the comment sections, you'll see it. Read it on Reddit. You'll see it. Read it all the way across the board. And it's not just the IWC melting down, bitching, griping, moaning, complaining. It's people who understand psychology in this industry where you look at Roman Reigns getting the belt back after an extended period of time, and the way things had been built, I said it then, I'll say it again now, it just felt like a step in the wrong direction. It felt like a safe step backwards. To where it's like in CM Punk and Randy Orton that have not been booked doing anything on television. Now, Randy kind of popped the cork on it when he said, guys, relax. I'm just milking it. I'll be back soon. I get that. I appreciate it. I loved it. Randy being, with the candid nature as always. I think so many people pop for that. It's like, too long, buddy. Come on back. We miss you. The question is, when he comes back, how do you write him back in? An immediate return would have been a lot more simple in order to do that. An extended absence, yes, absence does make the heart grow fonder. But I think once again, WWE is going to have to pull a rabbit out of the hat, and I don't even think AI can help them write Randy back in a logical, sensible way. Women's Intercontinental Championship match at Clash at Italy this weekend. You got Becky Lynch defending against Sol Ruca. Shane? Who's the favorite?
Becky Lynch minus 600.
Sol Ruca is actually the favorite.
Whoa. Well, then go ahead and give me those odds because I just busted them terribly.
Saul Ruka minus 300, Becky Lynch plus 200.
Wow.
This is the one case where I would actually bet against the grain. I said that on Tuesday night. I'll say it again right now. I think that Saul's time up on the main roster has been a question mark. Tremendously gifted athlete. I started to say in-ring performer. I've watched a lot of her stuff down at NXT, but by the same token, I will reiterate previous comments from myself, and there have been a lot of people agree with me on this. Saul needs to slow down just a little bit. It's one thing to work at an accelerated pace. I get that. But when you're going fast to the point where you're making mistakes and possibly putting yourself and your opponent in danger, slow down just a little bit and be smart about the execution, especially on some of these moves that she does. So I'm actually going to go against it. I'm going to go ahead and I'll say give me Becky Lynch for the win and still. And the other match I have questions about. For the WWE Women's World Championship, Rhea Ripley defending against Jade Cargill. Shane, who's the favorite?
Well, maybe I'm going off, and this is just a pause here, but, it was an article over the weekend with quotes from Mark Shapiro and Ari Emanuel saying that Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, and Rhea Ripley were the three cornerstones to them of WWE, and that's who they'll be building it around. Now, I don't have a problem with that, but I don't know about saying it publicly. Two, I also think that was kind of the deal 3 or 4 years ago with those three. So based on all that, I'll say Rhea Ripley minus 475.
Higher.
Minus 700.
Higher.
Minus 950.
Just a hair lower.
Minus 900.
Minus 900. Jade Cargill, a plus 500 underdog. Ripley is in that dangerous air where she doesn't need the championship to be over, although the majority of the fans love her as champion. In this case, I think it would be better to put the belt back on Jade. Now, I'm going to get added on that one, and I'm fine with that. When you have been in the spotlight for a certain period of time, and I have a very high level of respect for Jade Cargill. Great look, great style, occasionally makes the mistake, but guess what? Who doesn't? It's pro wrestling. We're going to have mistakes, botches, and oopsies every once in a while, kind of like Charlotte's outfit. More often, I'm wondering if she's trying to catch up to Tiffany Stratton. But the fact stands, I think it is going to be a sink or swim time for Jade. I think Hollywood may be knocking on the door, kind of like it is Samoa Joe right now, which that's another story for a little bit later. But as it stands, I'm going against the grain. I'm going to go ahead and say I've got Jade Cargill for the win. Shane?
I think Rhea retains, but with you, I would not mind if Jade Cargill won it back.
I wouldn't mind it either. Speaking of Samoa Joe, this weekend or this week, he made the comment. Actually, it was last night on Dynamite, which I did watch most of. They did a backstage segment with the Ops, and Joe made the statement that Hollywood's calling. Well, we all know that Joe's been. I think the show that Joe is a part of is Metal Wars, something of that ilk, and it's been renewed for a new season. So he's getting ready to go tape that. Yes, I said tape. Leave me alone. He's getting ready to go film that, tape that, video that, get it ready for. I'm going to production on it. There you go. We'll work on that one too. So he's going to be missing for a little bit of time, and dude, more power to you. I mean, look, with all due respect, I joke about Dwayne and migrating off to Hollywood, and Roman go ahead and go to Hollywood, or Jade possibly going to Hollywood. If you have an opportunity to better yourself and your financial standing to where you're not killing your body doing this, go for it and make the money. Legit. So,
well, funny as you say that is I've got one episode left of the Hulk Hogan documentary on Netflix. But it's something to what you're saying, and I know the environment certainly has changed. More doors have opened. But just being reminded that back in 1982, Hogan had gotten a call from Stallone about playing Thunder Lips in the movie Rocky III, and Vince McMahon Sr. said, absolutely not. And he said, why? He said, because you're working here. We need you in Charlotte. We need you in San Francisco. And he said, I'm going to do the movie. And Vince Sr. said, well, if you do that, you'll never work here again. Okay, cool. And he goes and makes the movie, which was an outside venture to do. And guess what? His star had risen even more by the time. And of course, I know about the transfer of power, so to speak, between Vince Sr. and Vince Jr. But what you're speaking to, yeah, if any of these guys or gals have an opportunity, take it. More money, more exposure, less bumps.
Yeah, because even if you're doing your own stunts in a movie, hello, Tom Cruise, you're going to be in a position where you're going to be able to preserve your body a hell of a lot better. I know off air you and I spoke about the fact that you were not able to catch Double or Nothing, and I get that. Life is a 4-letter word. We've said it all the way through. I will say this. The reactions even 2 and 3 days after the fact, when websites like CageNet or Cage Match have Double or Nothing 2026 in their top 5 viewer-rated pay-per-views, when you go back through the comment sections and all of the other stuff and you see 95% positives, very few negatives, this reiterates to me that, lo and behold, remember a little while back when I made the statement, we're entering into a brand new golden age as far as pro wrestling goes? It's here, and it's on. Unfortunately, WWE seems to be dropping the ball a little bit here and there, and the black eyes they've gotten in the media as far as everything from Mark Shapiro, who just can't shut up, to everything happening with the CEO and all of the other, the president getting multi-million-dollar bonuses and pay raises while cutting personnel, which personnel cuts are a natural part of this industry anyway. And we all know that WWE did a lot of the so-called cuts they were doing to make room for a youth movement, allegedly. There's some things that just make me wonder, because I'm going to throw this out there. With companies like World Series Wrestling out of Australia doing 4 great nights, which are available free on YouTube, Major League Wrestling getting ready to go full scale with a television production, Fusion, AEW making their move, and last night's episodes of Dynamite and Collision were both very good. Raw was okay. Could it have been better? Sure, why not? I'm so burned out on WWE's formula about intro, promo, commercial, reset, da-da-da. And I'm not the only one. And I've noticed a lot of people moving away from WWE, which is sad because, realistically, there's some great talent up there. But, as it stands, Shane, what can you say? With everything going on, let's not even forget about everything from Game Changer to TNA to you name it, all the different companies. Over in East Alabama, West Georgia, there are companies that are making positive moves, right?
There are, and I want to give a shout-out to Phil Hefner, NAWA, June 13th, taking place in Canton, Georgia. Alexander Lev, who I'm not the only person that's high on Lev, but certainly high on Lev, as I've seen him 3 or 4 times at Premier over the course of the year. And of course, he got to wrestle out in Vegas during Mania weekend, had a little stint there with Ring of Honor. Got a shot, but I'm excited for Phil Hefner, NAWA. If you recognize that name, Phil Hefner promoted professional wrestling all around Cedartown and Rome for years, now doing Canton, Georgia. We're June 13th, and I believe they are almost completely sold out. Good for him. Alexander Lev, who also works for NWA with Billy Corgan, will be taking on Mr. Nick Neiman, formerly known as Dolph Ziggler.
Yep.
And that kind of sparked it for me when you said TNA, because I just have not seen, I'm still going to call it Ziggler. I haven't seen him do many indie shots. here. So this is a cool one. And I think the venue holds 1,500 to 2,000, somewhere in there. He said they're pretty close to sold out with a couple of weeks to go. But I don't even know the rest of the card, but I think that's tremendously cool. What a treat there for Georgia fans. So
exactly.
Get a chance. Get out and check that.
See, here's the funny thing about it. Yet again, Georgia is proving to be. I'm going to retract and reset. With so many different things going on in Georgia, in Tennessee, in Florida, even here in my home state of Alabama, there's some things I'm going to bring up in the next segment because we've got some great interviews coming up on the next couple of Sunday editions. Even Alabama is feeling that new golden age hit. And there are some companies that are making some moves that are very impressive. So you just never know, and we're going to cover that in just a few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and throw this one at you right now. How much of a headache as a basketball fan, I know how much of it is for me as a basketball fan, with everything that Oklahoma City is doing, especially in the postseason this year with Sir Flops-a-Lot, and who is the MVP of flopping, in my opinion. But I know you've kept a better eye on that than I have, sir.
Well, you would be referring to SGA, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. And while I'm not going to dispute the notion that SGA doesn't flop, there was a study that came out that he hit the floor more this 2025-26 season than any player in the NBA. And number two was a distant number two. I think hit the floor about 78, 79 times less than SGA. But it is interesting to me in this series, as far as free throws. Game one, and don't quote me on this, but he shot like 6 free throws. Game two, he shot 8. Game three, he shot 5. Game 4, 9. It wasn't until game 5 when he shot 18 that you saw a ton of free throw attempts on SGA. So I think some of that regular season narrative is carrying over to this series, which hasn't been the case outside of one game, if I'm making any sense. Because those first 4 games, he certainly did not get to the foul line anywhere near the rate he did during the regular season. I love Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, but at the same time, he's also a frustrating brand of basketball to watch. Flopping and it's not, I don't know how to describe it for those that may not have seen. It's not the egregious flopping. He does a lot of this when he's on offense, like trying to initiate contact, trying to sustain contact after the play, the pass, the shot is made. And it puts a lot of pressure on the officials. But I've been glad to see in these conference finals, I think they have gotten some, of course, certainly the crews are given these higher profile slots based on their work. You know, they get marks, as they say, throughout here. So it's the best of the best, you would think, at this point in time. So we'll see going forward. But this, what we talked about, I think this is, and I don't want to catch some heat on this, and that's fine. This is the NBA Finals. And that can speak to a larger degree here. I don't want to dismiss what the New York Knickerbockers, the Knicks, have done. They have reached the NBA Finals for the first time since 1999. Cool. I'm very happy for them.
Only 99?
Correct. They have not won a title since 1972. By the way,
okay.
We could get into that about the Congresswoman that wanted to take a shot at our sitting president for saying that he was going to attend a New York Knicks finals game. And she's like, I bet he doesn't keep up. He can't even name any players from the 1993 championship team. Well, the Knicks didn't win the title in 1993, so there's nothing funnier than when you try to insult and you're wrong as well. But I digress. You can edit that out.
I'm not going to. I'm leaving it.
The Knicks, it was. I enjoyed seeing this because once they eliminated the Cleveland Cavaliers, who, by the way, shame on them for, I think, everything short of quitting in that series in Game 4, losing 130-83 to close it out. But good for the Knicks. And I was talking to someone at work about this. The Knicks have just made the NBA Finals. The finals have not started. They have not won a game in the finals. They certainly have not won the championship. But you saw the city of New York take to the streets and celebrate with flags and chants and banners on. When's the last time you saw that for someone that just reached the NBA Finals? That is normally reserved for a trophy celebration type deal. But there are some long-suffering fans that have not seen the Knicks win a title since 1972. And I will say this, though. I said I didn't want to dismiss it, but I remember in 1999 how excited the Knicks were to go to the NBA Finals, and the Knicks are kind of like the Cowboys. Every time we go, we're going to win because of who we are. I remind you, they lost that series to the Spurs in a sweep. Could history repeat itself? We will see.
We will see. Because I know that the next matchup is tonight between Oklahoma City and the San Antonio Spurs. Right now, the Spurs are a 3.5-point favorite, with the over currently sitting at 218.5. Who are you taking tonight?
Well, the Thunder look to, close this out and go to the – by the way, if the Thunder do play the Knicks, that's going to be a lot of orange and blue in the NBA Finals. Pretty similar color schemes there. Look, I hate to say it all comes down to one player, but it does come down to one player. Victor Wembanyama in games 1 and 4 for the Spurs, absolutely dominant. Over 30, 40 points, they won those games. Game 2 and 3, he's at 20 points or under. And game 5, and they lose those. So they kind of go as Wemby goes. Eddie, I do think the Spurs actually win tonight. It's so hard to eliminate someone on their home floor. On the road. I think we go 7. I think we get Thunder and Spurs. Would that be Saturday or Sunday? So is that game 7 if necessary? I do think it's Saturday if we get that one, because the NBA Finals tentatively scheduled to begin Wednesday, June 3rd, if I have my dates correct there.
Working on that right now. Keep going.
Yeah, so I think, I do think there would be a game 7 on Saturday, but you're asking me who. I'm taking the Spurs to win tonight, and I'm taking the over 218.
I'm actually taking the Spurs and the under. I think this is going to be one of those cases where the Spurs play smart defense, which they are very capable of doing. And Wembanyama, strong in the rebounding category. I believe he's been averaging 9.5, and I think he probably hits a double-double tonight, both scoring and in rebounds. So, you've got tonight at San Antonio, and then Saturday is going to be, if needed, I believe, in Oklahoma City. So I think the Spurs could actually wrap this thing up on the road.
Oh, so you got the Spurs winning 6 and 7?
I'm taking that. I'm going to go ahead and do that.
I like it.
I've called Danhausen. He has officially uncursed me from wagering. Kind of like he uncursed the Knicks. I'll take that. I mean, it cost me $7.99 and a fish sandwich from Arby's to break the curse. So that I think the fish sandwich hurt me more than the $7.99 did, because of the fact that I actually like Arby's fish sandwich. It doesn't suck. Which now, before we hit this break, which we got a quick one coming up. Matter of fact, hold that thought, because I am actually going to hold up and ask that question of Shane after this break. Back in 5 on the live side, about a minute and a half on the replay. This is Beyond Ringside Live. And no, Jimmy Fallon did not go to Bayside.